Hello, this is Ronette with Freedom and Passive Income, and today we're going to answer the question, are copper pennies valuable? And if this is your first time watching, the purpose of my channel is to empower you with tips, strategies, and information to help you transition from paycheck to paycheck to freedom and passive income. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure that you download my free ebook. It's called Make, Manage, and Master Your Money, and it will give you an overview of the best way to get started in managing your finances and optimizing everything so that you can become financially fit. So anyway, this is like part 2 of my videos on copper pennies. I did a prior video talking about when copper pennies were discontinued, and I wanted to do another video to talk about the value of copper pennies. So a lot of the videos that I've seen, people, excuse me, the most recent videos I've seen, people have kind of focused on, is it worth it to collect copper pennies for the purpose of minting them down into copper? And I don't look at it that way. I really don't want to mint, or I really don't want to melt down my copper pennies, because I want them to have, I want to have the agility to be able to use what I'll need to use if there's any type of financial crisis. And that's the reason why I collected so many copper pennies so many years ago, because when I found out about the fragility of our monetary system, and the fact that we had been taken off of the gold standard and our purchasing power had decreased, and it was continuing to do so, we were continuing to print a lot of currency. When I found out about all those things, I pretty much panicked, and I didn't have a lot of money to get started doing anything. And so I started buying some silver dimes, but you know, that can get expensive depending upon what your budget is. And so the copper is something that anybody can do. And of course, you know, a copper penny is not as valuable as a silver dime, but it's going to maintain its purchasing power. And as you can see, I still have coin market cap. I'm sorry, I still have coinflation. If I was in coin market cap earlier. But I still have the coinflation website up, because you can see that right now a copper penny is worth 3 cents. It's worth 3 times the face value of it, and that is because the purchasing power of our currency is decreasing. And so as that continues, you know, you may have money in your wallet that is going down in purchasing power, but if you have any type of precious metals or semi-precious metals, which copper will qualify for, that is going to go up in purchasing power. So if there's anything that you need, then you'll be able to buy it. And the other thing I thought about when I started doing this was like, okay, if there is some type of crash in our monetary system, silver and gold, those two precious metals are going to be worth quite a bit of money. And so I thought, okay, if those are the two main things that I have, and I don't have hardly anything else that is maintaining its purchasing power, do I really want to take my silver to go buy groceries? Do I really want to take my silver to go get gas? I most certainly don't want to take my silver or take my gold to buy groceries or gas or anything like that. I would be using that to buy other income producing assets, like, you know, real estate or something like that. And if things get really, really bad, then you're looking at your silver the same way. And so in my mind, having copper on hand, copper pennies in particular, then that way you can make change if you need to. You don't have to, you know, give them all of your copper at one time. You just give them what you need, and that way, you know, you can preserve the rest. I wanted to share with you a video that really pretty much corroborated what my thought process was with all this. My computer is slow. I don't know if it's gonna come up, but someone did a video, I don't know if it was a year or two ago, but someone did a video about the fact that a family in Venezuela could take an ounce of silver, and this is, I think he says 38 days. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, this was in, when was this? What year was this video? I don't see it. It was, oh, well, let's just say it's about a year ago. But this YouTuber did a video about the fact that in Venezuela at that time, I don't know what's going on right now, but you could take a family of 5 could take 1 ounce of silver and eat for 38 days. And that was huge to me, because what I did was I went and I did my own research, and I went online and I got some other resources, and maybe I might put a link to this video and this other website that I used to determine the silver copper ratio, so that I could try to figure out, okay, how many copper pennies would you need for 1 ounce of silver? And based off of my calculations, you could, if you have 1,000 pennies, which would be 4 boxes of pennies would equate to 1 ounce of silver. And so that seems like a lot, but if you're doing it over time, if you are accumulating your copper pennies over time, I just made it when I first got started doing it, I just made it a habit of going and buying a box of pennies. It was like every week, every 2 weeks, whenever I got paid or something like that. And it literally took me, I counted my time. It literally took me like a minute to get through 1 roll of pennies. It seems like it's a lot of time, but I would do it while I was listening to the radio or a podcast or something like that. I would make my time productive. I wouldn't just sit there and just, unroll pennies without doing anything else. I would make it a productive amount of time, so I wouldn't feel like I was wasting my time. But so 1 ounce of silver equates to about 1,000 pennies, and I take that back. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm thinking 250. So I think every box of pennies, I think it has 2,500 pennies. So 1 box of pennies would be 2.5 ounces of silver. And so when you equate that to what he's saying here, 1 ounce of silver feeding a family for a little over a month, well, then you're looking at 1 box of copper pennies being able to feed a family for a little over 2 months, right? So you might be looking at, I don't know, if we have let's just say 1 box of pennies for every couple of months, you're looking at 6 boxes of pennies to be able to eat for a year. That is a lot. To me, that's valuable. That is extremely valuable, because if you're in a situation like this, like what they went through in Venezuela, and even in Argentina, and I'm trying to think, I know there was a country in Africa that went through this. It's horrible. I can imagine not being able to just feed my family, because if you can't eat, you can't think about anything else. And if you look at the videos in Venezuela, people were standing in lines like forever, like all day, just to get a government handout. Whereas if they would have had some copper pennies, they may have been able to exchange those, because the vendors weren't taking, especially on the black market, because what they were doing is they were taking these silver coins and they were being able to exchange what they needed on the black market. And the black market just wants to make sure that there is some type of purchasing power. Well, when things are that bad, I'm pretty sure they're taking pennies. And the reason why I say that is because you can go on eBay today and sell copper pennies. And so there is a market for it even today, as we're speaking, with nothing, no major crisis like this going on in the United States. And so to me, that is the reason why I still, even though I have plenty of copper to feed my family for a long time, because when I was doing that, I didn't know about this, and I say way more than 6 boxes. But if you can get yourself into a discipline of doing this, to have at least enough to feed your family for a year in copper pennies, then as you are saving your silver dimes and you're getting gold, those are the precious metals that you can either exchange and purchase income producing assets, or you can use them as collateral to get a loan to purchase income producing assets. I don't think that it will be a good idea to use silver dimes, silver, uh, ounces of silver, copper, gold or anything like that. I don't think that it will be wise to use those coins to eat when you can do something like this. And you can also do nickels. So if you just don't have the time or the patience to sort through copper pennies, if you have, and I'm looking at my phone because I did all these calculations, if you have 500 nickels, a 500 nickels would have about the same purchasing power as 1 ounce of silver. So I think there are 200. I think there's 200 nickels in a box. Don't quote me on that. Do your research on that. But if you're willing to buy just boxes of nickels, then you can do that instead of buying copper pennies. The only thing, though, is that you can't recycle through those the way you can the copper pennies if you're on a tight budget. The copper pennies are going to be better because you can take the zinc and exchange them for money and put a little bit more money with it, get a box, and then recycle again. Whereas with the nickels, you can't. Once you buy the nickels, you just got to buy them and just get what you need and then just have them. So it's just a matter of where you are in terms of your finances. Do you have more time or money? More patience than not. So it didn't bother me. I know some people, they just couldn't even wrap their mind around sorting through copper pennies. But I tell you what, you can't put a price on peace. Because I have peace of mind that if things get straight crazy, then I at least have something to feed my family with. And then I can think about my other strategies. Then I won't just be consumed and focused with how am I going to eat the next day and standing in long lines literally all day trying to get some food. I have what I need to buy what I need to eat, and then I can use my precious metals to buy other assets that will generate the income that I need. So anyway, I will put links to what I use for my research in the description, and I hope this was helpful to you. So if you haven't figured it out already, I think that pennies are extremely valuable, not necessarily for the plan to melt them, but for the hedge of protection that they can provide for you around your other assets. Because it doesn't make sense to have, a whole bunch of stuff in your house and you can't fill your refrigerator. And so, or buy toilet paper. We've already been through that with COVID. So anyway, that's all I have for today, and I hope that this was helpful. All the best to your success. I will see you in the next video. And again, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you download my free book, Make, Manage, and Master Your Money. I will put a link to this video and the other resource that I use to find out those copper silver ratios. I put that in the link in the description. And all the best to your success. Bye.